Welcome, everyone. This is Joe Digger, the host of the Business 901 podcast. With me today is Jeb Blount. Jeb is a speaker, executive advisor, consultant, and world-class trainer who inspires people to take massive action and reach peak performance. Author of, I think, over 7 books, with his most current one, Fanatical Prospecting. He can be found at salesgravy.com, the most visited sales-specific website on the planet, he says. So I don't know about that, but I could go on, but it seems like you're somebody in the sales world. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks for having me on today. It's fantastic to be here with you.
Well, your book, Fanatical Prospecting, it seemed to set off a glut of other prospecting books. Were you just lucky, or did everyone follow you?
I think everybody was following me. We knew when we were doing it that there was a hole in the marketplace, and that there'd been this shift about from people talking about actually doing outbound prospecting and talking to human beings to spending all their time on LinkedIn and Twitter and Facebook all day long. And we've been hearing from a lot of executives that were really upset that their sales team's performance had dipped and their pipelines were shrinking, and there was just all of this, movement towards social media, and it fizzled out.
Well, that's one of my problems, okay, that I have, and I think from, a lot of SaaS company has, is that you hear, it used to be it takes 3 to 5 attempts to get someone on the phone. Now it's like 7 to 9 to 20 attempts to get someone on the phone. And is prospecting just a numbers game? I mean, is that all it really is? Is consistency in numbers?
Prospecting, well, let's just talk about prospecting in itself. There's prospecting and sales, and people mix the two things up. All prospecting is asking for time. And by the way, it's the hardest ask in sales. And the 3 to 5 call and the 8 to 9 call, and pardon me if I say this, that's just total BS. I had a salesperson come to me and say, nobody answers the telephone anymore. I said, how many people answer the phone? Out of 100 dials, how many people do you get on the telephone? He said 25. I took him back because we've got stats going all the way back into the 90s, so early 90s, and we keep every stat. We've got data upon data. And I said, go and reach in my bookshelf. There's a book in there, and it's got prospecting data that I've handwritten in from those times. And I asked him to do the math. What were we getting in 1995? About 25% of the people that we called were answering the telephone. Now, the number of attempts changes depending on who you are. I have a client that's in capital equipment. 80% of the time, a contact picks up the phone. 80%. It's crazy. I've got clients who are in really big deal software, enterprise level software, $1 to $2 million accounts. Well, I mean, their numbers are 9%. So because they're calling into the C-suite. In business services, typically you're around 25%. We have data now that says it's pushing up into 30%. And the reason that's happening is because telephones are attached to people and nobody's calling. I'll give you this. Since last year, so we're now on about 18 months, I've received around 3,000 prospecting emails. I've received 4 prospecting calls, 4 phone calls. Think about this for a second. 4. 3 of them I'm doing business with. I got a cold call from a young man who works for a company called Tom James, a guy named Brett. Guy calls me up on my cell phone because this is my office phone. It's right here. He calls me up, a cold call. I engage with him. I'm driving to the airport. I have a conversation with him. I bought $7,000 worth of custom suits from him the next week because he cold called me on the phone. So this myth that people aren't answering the phone is complete and utter BS. And it's BS that your salespeople are telling you because they don't want to get on the telephone because it's easier to send emails. There's nothing wrong with an email prospecting strategy. But for example, we had one SaaS company that was buying lists, and then they were sending 8 emails on a campaign, and then they were calling. And they called us because it wasn't working. And one of the reasons it wasn't working because after you got 8 emails and then someone calls you up, you're mad because you got 8 emails. So we changed that. We said, if you're going to get the list, call the list first. Pull all the people off the list that are going to answer their phones. Turned out they got better results from calling the list first. And then the people that didn't answer, then we created an email campaign and an outreach campaign for that, including voicemails, by the way, that allowed us to create familiarity, move them into the familiarity bubble, and then increase the probability that they were going to engage. But but it doesn't make a difference whether you're sending email or you're doing a telephone or you're working in social or if you're a field sales representative and you're knocking on doors. I mean, it doesn't make a difference. To some extent, it is a statistical game. You can increase the probability that a person will engage you by increasing familiarity. That's advertising and marketing and prospecting to some extent. You can increase the probability that people will engage with you by calling them at the right time, right? Having the right message and making sure that you're calling the right person. So you can do things that do that. But nothing replaces the cumulative impact of daily prospecting balanced across multiple channels. And my message to the world, I mean, my soapbox is pick up the damn phone and call somebody. And take that and make that your number one thing that you do every day, and then shift into an email block. I've got a couple of salespeople, for example, on my team who do voicemail blocks. They wait till after the golden hour, so around 6 or 7 o'clock when people aren't there, and they just dial and bang out voicemails. And what they find is they bang out voicemails, they pop in an email block the next morning, and then they make another call, and that increases the probability that people are going to answer the phone. But this whole concept, all these stats that people are throwing out, don't believe it. The people that are throwing these things out are charlatans, and it's BS. It just depends on your industry vertical and your segment and who you're calling. And by the way, if it's an ex-customer or if it's someone who doesn't know you, the number of calls it's going to take to get there. Yes, there are some averages out there, but everything is product vertical, industry specific. And you should not get caught up in those things. There's no secret sauce to this. You have to have a balanced prospecting methodology that you employ every single day. You have to be super disciplined. And if you're a leader, you take no BS from your sales team. You say, get on the phone, send emails, do what you have to do, but you get in the door. That's what you have to do first. Then you can sell. Sorry for my soapbox.
Oh no, I can't. That's what I was getting ready to say. Is that I can't believe that you could go on some soapbox or anything, could you? Well, you believe in that, okay? You believe in prospecting, right? And I think the word that I see come up over and over again in your book and now is familiarity. Is that the key? Building from that perspective?
Well, I mean, it's part of it, right? I mean, Coca-Cola advertises all the time because familiarity, right? We know Coca-Cola. If you're a small SaaS company, if you're a lean startup and you're working into, trying to grow, you don't have familiarity. Nobody knows who you are. So a lot of that's going to happen through prospecting. This is why you want to have a concerted and consistent prospecting effort. If I call and leave you a voicemail and I say my name, and people say, well, people don't listen to voicemails anymore. They do. And a lot of times they read voicemails. So if you have a great voicemail, there's a great voicemail strategy in fanatical prospecting, but they see the name. If you send an email, they see the name. But if you harass them via email, then you destroy your brand. So familiarity is, you think about it, everybody has a familiarity bubble. We have a bubble that we live in. And the things that are inside that bubble, we believe, things that we're familiar with, we believe are better, more trustworthy. And the things that are outside that bubble, we feel are less trustworthy. So part of a salesperson's job is to move into the familiarity bubble so that the person will be willing to engage. You also have to understand that there are buying windows. If you're a SaaS company and you sell something that's common, like things that people buy on a regular basis, then you have to figure out when they buy those things, because you can set up all the meetings you want to, all the demos you want to. If it's not, the window's not there and the budget's not there, it doesn't make a difference. You're going to waste your time. If you're selling something that people don't know that they need, I mean, and there are a lot of SaaS companies are creating these, really amazing products and software that nobody knew they needed before they got it. In that case, there's not a buying window, but you have to create that demand through your messaging. But that happens because you get an appointment, right? You have to spend some time with people. You have to walk them through a discovery call. Then maybe there's maybe in a lot of cases, a multifaceted demo track that you're going to put people on. But you have to get the time. And what we have to understand is the hardest ask in sales is for that time. So everything that you're doing is around, creating and improving the probability that you're going to engage the right prospect, the right person at the right time with the right message. We have to do those things. So when we think about familiarity bubble, we think about a complete system. Your marketing, your advertising, your prospecting, all of that put together. And prospecting can make that happen for you. But also it is, are you setting regular appointments? Are you getting up to bat? And yes, you have to make a lot of calls. I mean, look, my average salesperson, and on our advertising side of our business, so the salesgravy.com job board part of my business, my average salesperson makes 120 outbound calls a day on average. And my average salesperson sells 1 to 2 deals every single day. Now, most people would say, wow, that's a really low probability. I mean, you should do something else. That's what it takes. If I send 1,000 emails, I'll sell no deals that day. I've got to talk to people. But we do that 120 dials in 3 hours. 3 hours. That leaves us 7 hours for everything else. For our email blasts, for our social media marketing, for our lead generation, for selling, for customer service, for all of those things, for making sure that our customers are successful. And just like a SaaS company, we're on a subscription basis. So retaining our customer base is a big deal. If I make 120 dials and I sell 1 deal, and that my average customer sticks with me for 9 months on a subscription, that's a pretty good number for us. We know that happening, and every company has to have that. But I'll just go back to this. The reason we're having this conversation is not because what I'm saying is not true. It's because leaders don't have the courage to hold their people accountable for doing the prospecting. And salespeople are really, really good at making leaders believe that prospecting is no good. I even work with a SaaS company who had a group of SDRs, business development reps. They had outsourced the prospecting to another company, and those people were prospecting and giving the deal to the SDR who was calling in and then setting up an appointment for the AE. And you got to figure out, if I'm the investor in that company, if like I'm the venture capital company, I'm firing everybody. You're wasting my money. Why would you do something that way? And the reason it was happening is because the SDRs had convinced the CEO that prospecting was too hard. So the CEO found a bunch of people that were willing to do it for $10,000 a month. Stupid.
Well, I'll have to tell you that the first time through Fanatical Prospect, I read it and I thought, okay. But then all at once it became my go-to book, okay? And I don't know how I grew into that, all right, because it just kind of evolved. And so it wasn't like I read it and said, oh, this is fantastic, this is the book I need. It just kind of said, oh, yeah, I thought there was something like that in there, okay? And I went back, and it just sort of evolved into the one that I used, okay, and looked at.
I'm clapping for you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I love that.
Well, tell me when your new book comes out, and also about your website and the courses you offer and how someone can learn more here, okay?
Absolutely. Let's start with a new book. I've got a new book coming out. It'll be out on March 24th. It's called Sales EQ. It really focuses on the psychology of selling. We call it the new psychology of selling. And it's around exactly what we talked about. It's leveraging sales-specific emotional intelligence inside the pipeline to close basically any deal, so that you can interact with people. And to sell is human, to buy is human. We talk a lot about that in cognitive biases, how people operate, but we really teach salespeople the psychology of how people make decisions, and then how to leverage their own emotional intelligence to take advantage of that so that they can move more people to close and close more business. That book, by the way, is available right now for pre-order, and I would suggest pre-ordering it. When Fanatical Prospecting came out, we sold out. I mean, everybody sold out of books really in the first couple of days, and all the people that had pre-ordered got their books immediately. So it's something that you can do right now. You can go to Amazon, Barnes & Noble. The book will be available in Barnes & Noble. Fanatical Prospecting, by the way, is available in every Barnes & Noble store across the United States. And you can also pick that up on Amazon and any online outlet. My website is salesgravy.com. And we have on our website this amazing platform that we spent a lot of money building called Sales Gravy University. And it's an online learning platform, and we offer both self-directed programs, so you can go on and say there's a program there called Telephone Essentials, so you can learn how to telephone prospect by watching videos of me. But we also offer an entire catalog of facilitator-led or instructor-led remote learning. And these are scheduled classes that have self-directed, sort of a blending learning environment where we have a virtual classroom, a very cool, innovative virtual classroom that you can spend time on. All of those sessions are recorded. Plus, you are able to engage in discussion forums with the other participants. You have chat rooms that are open once a week with the facilitator, and the facilitators are available via phone and email. So participants have some interaction with an expert in their field teaching this particular course. So we have a course coming up called Business Guidance Selling, in particular that is built for SaaS and cloud and technology salespeople. It's taught by a guy named Keith Lubner, who is an expert in that area, and he teaches, how do you work across stakeholder groups to consolidate budget inside of companies and work across, for example, CMOs, CSOs. So you go to salesgravy.com and you'll find Sales Gravy University there. Check it out. There's a couple of free courses that you can take. And we also have a really innovative mobile app for Sales Gravy University on both iOS, on Apple, and on Google Play. And you can download those apps as well. So we've got that going on. And of course, you can reach me. And by the way, please go buy Financial Prospecting. I guarantee it will make you more money this year. But you can reach out to me. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter at SalesGravy. I love people who follow me on Twitter. You can reach me on Facebook. Follow me personally. I'm at SalesGravy, or you can get Jeb on Demand. /Jeb on Demand is my page on Facebook. Follow me there. I'm on Instagram at SalesGravy, and I'm on Snapchat at SalesGravy too. Although I struggle with Snapchat, I have to be honest with you. but I am there. So if you hang out, if you follow me there, I'm at SalesGravy. You can find me at Jeb Blount. If you go to if you can get my podcasts on iTunes, on Stitcher Radio, on Podbay FM. Obviously, I'm on YouTube as well. You can go to my YouTube channel and check out my videos. So that's all the ways that you can get in touch with me. But I do encourage you to go check out Sales Gravy University. There's a course right now called 15-Minute Sales Training, and maybe we can even put this video on there if we decide to. And you can download some different videos from experts. Some of the experts that you've interviewed as well, Joe, are there. And it's a great opportunity for your entire sales team to check out some free advice, some free training in different areas of sales.
Well, that sounds awesome, and I would encourage people to go look at salesgravy.com. Great website, great information there. There's as much free stuff on there as there is paid stuff on there. There's a nice mixture of both, and I think if you're in the sales game at all, you need to go visit it.
Thank you.
This podcast will be available on Business 901 iTunes Store and the Business 901 website, so I would like to thank you very much, Jeb, and thank all the listeners for listening.
Thank you.